Let me take this opportunity on behalf of the Commissioner, management and staff of the ACC to welcome you to this Maiden press conference since the appointment of our Commissioner, Mr. Francis Ben Kaifala. The reason for this press conference, the reasons are threefold. One, to give an opportunity to the Commissioner to meet and hobnob with the press. Secondly, to give an opportunity to the new Commissioner to share his vision about the fight against corruption in Senegal. And third, but not the least, to update the press about current happenings or topical issues that are touching and are pertaining to the work of the Commission. I have the pleasure now to present to you the Commissioner, Mr. Francis Ben Kaifala, to address this press conference. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Shirley Davis, the Deputy Commissioner of the Anti-Corruption Commission. Good afternoon. Why is the press so depressed? Good afternoon. All right, okay. I am very happy today to have this interactive session with you after taking over as Commissioner of the ACC. And it is particularly important that I meet with you because the fight against corruption, like I said, is perceptual. It's going to focus on getting a transformation of the minds of Sierra Leoneans from where it has been or it is to a position where they can believe that the fight against corruption is sincere and that there is a desire, the commitment and the will to fight it. And to do so, the press are particularly important because you interface with them more than we do. You will be the ones taking to them our works, our actions and inactions, and analyzing them sometimes even better than we do. And in everything we do, we will rely on your support. In that regard, today, I, as Commissioner, am assuring you of the fact that the fight against corruption is not going to be the same again in Sierra Leone. In that regard, we in the Commission, myself, the Deputy Commissioner, the directors, their various teams and units, we are declaring and waging war on corruption. It's a battle that we are inviting you to join. And we want you to be on our side. When you fight corruption, corruption fights back. We want you to join us so when that fight reaches the stage where corruption is fighting back, you will be on the side of that which is good for the people of Sierra Leone. If we are on the side of bad, join against us. But if we are on the side of good, we are inviting you to be with us. Back us up. Support us. Let us look behind us and see you standing with us. It will help us a lot in this transformative story of Sierra Leone. Since taking over, I have been putting in place plans to make sure that this fight is done in a way that is transparent, that is fair, that is efficient, and that is effective. We have reviewed our own internal systems. We are still reviewing some of them. I have met with various departments, units, sections, and various individuals who have been engaged in the fight. We have had meetings And we are mapping out a way of realigning the commission that will take into consideration the new focus, energy, drive, and synergy to make sure that the fight against corruption is more efficient than has been before. In the weeks to come, we will also be meeting with various sectors, ministries, departments, agencies, and core individuals of government who are useful and important to the fight against corruption, to make sure we similarly recruit them to join us in this consensus effort. We are going to particularly expand the way investigations are done, the way investigations are communicated, the way investigations are effected, and the process that changes or transforms investigations into prosecution. We are going to make sure that the systems and processes department is very efficient in backing us up in the preventive role against corruption, by making sure that our role to make sure that MDAs are efficiently aligned in the fight of corruption in terms of ethics, in terms of professionalism, in terms of the way they conduct themselves. We are going to do that robustly. We are going to make sure that everyone who is supposed to follow policies, guidelines, and procedures does so. If they don't, and it comes to our attention, we are capable of doing something about it within our mandate as the ACC. Generally, and most importantly, all our roles as outlined in the ACC Act of 2008 are going to be taken seriously, individually and collectively. And we need you, the press, to help us. Corruption is war. Until it is treated or considered as such, it will be shadow boxing. We at the ACC will not be condoning or engaging in shadow boxing. And we expect everyone, all Sierra Leoneans, to join us in that regard. Therefore, there are various issues which I have met in the commission, which I know you have had questions about. I am going to explain some of them to you, and you will have the time to ask questions about them. The ones that we can answer now will give you fair answers to them. Now, over the past few weeks since I've been here, a number of investigations have started. Apart from that, some investigations have been re-energized. Particularly, before I came here, as you all know, the team at the ACC had sealed an indictment which concerned the 2017 Hajj pilgrimage and everything, which has been collectively dubbed the Hajj Gate. The previous commissioner and his team did the indictments, and those indictments were lodged with the Chief Justice and the Master and Registrar sealed. We are going to unseal them today, and we'll tell you the identity of those who have been charged in those indictments, and give you our plans as far as those indictments are concerned. There are two of them. One is the Hajj, the other one is the investigation into Sarah Rota, the sale and everything that happened with it. Sealed indictment 1. An indictment was lodged by the Commission on the 12th of June, and it involved the following persons: It was the state of Sierra Leone against Sheka Said Kamara, Victor Bokari Fo, and Abubakar Kiru. They were charged on various counts, 4 of them involving misappropriation of public funds. The first count is conspiracy to commit corruption offense contrary to Section 128 of the Anti-Corruption Act, which covered Sheka Said Kamara and Victor Bokari Fo. The second was misappropriation of public funds contrary to Section 36 of the Anti-Corruption Act, again Sheka Said Kamara and Victor Bokari Fo. The third was misappropriation of public funds contrary to Section 36 of the Anti-Corruption Act, 2008, and it involved Sheka Said Kamara. The fourth and final one is willful and negligently failing to comply with applicable procedures and guidelines relating to the management of funds contrary to Section 48(2)(b) of the Anti-Corruption Act, number 12 of 2008, and it involved Abubakar Kiru and Sheka Said Kamara. Now, after taking over, myself and the team, which involves prosecutors and investigators, looked at this case, the file. It is our view that there were various areas of the file that has not been completely investigated before the indictment was filed. There were various leads that have not been pursued. There are various aspects of the case which would expand the charges beyond 4 that have not been considered, or if they were considered, they may not have been looked at from the viewpoint that would make those charges to make it into the indictments. And there is the possibility that the investigation itself involves more people than what is presently in the indictment. In that regard, the investigations are continuing, and we will get back to you with the changes that may take place as far as the Hajj gate is concerned. But be prepared that this will be likely more charges and more people. We are working on it. If there are no more, if the investigations that we are leading does not include more people, we'll get back to you and you will know that we'll go with what is before us. If it even involves removing some people who are there, if we deem it necessary and appropriate based on a proper, complete forensic investigation, we'll also get back to you. Thankfully, the file itself is set for the 30th of July 2018, which gives us about a month to be able to do what we are doing. We have no plans at this stage of shifting that date. We want to do what we can between this time and then to see what modifications or alterations or maintaining of this indictment as it is can happen. And my team are working on it, and we are ready to pursue it. That is the Hajj gate. Again, similar to the Hajj gate, before the previous commissioner left, he filed an indictment which concerned investigations into Sierra Rutai. The indictment involves Alhaji Mohammed Bundu Mansare, Matthew Hurd, H-I-R-D, and Wayne Benter. We are similarly looking into this file. The charges as they stand are 2 counts. Conspiracy to commit a corruption offense contrary to Section 1281 of the Anti-Corruption Act 2008. And that involves Matthew Hurd and Wayne Benter. And the other is accepting an advantage contrary to Section 28(1) of the Anti-Corruption Act, number 12 of 2008. And the person involved is Alhaji Mohammed Bundu Mansari. We are similarly reviewing this because we also believe that the investigations were not completed, or even if they were not adequately done so as for us to be satisfied that we can proceed on what has been filed before the courts. It is going to be reviewed, and there is the possibility that the investigations may expand beyond the people or the charges that are in here, or it may reduce as the case may be. But it is similarly set for the 30th July 2018. Before then, you'll hear from us. Now, in line with the Hajj, additional statements are being taken. We have taken a policy that everybody of interest to any investigations that is happening in the Anti-Corruption Commission has to be put on bail. Standard procedure for everybody. In that regard, an additional suspect is being investigated, and he has been pronounced to be put on bail today. So that is going on, and you'll hear from us about that as we go. Another case which we began immediately I came in is an investigation into grand corruption at NASIT. It's a huge web. A lot of people, top management, are involved. Some are already in detention. We had arrested about 4 of them. One has been put on bail because he had been in prison for more than 7 days. The others are still in detention. More people are being investigated as we speak. And to give you just preliminary ideas, it involved the establishment of a health center in Sierra Leone that would provide state-of-the-art health facility for everybody. And $1 million was put into an escrow account to facilitate the preliminary establishment of that facility, drawings, land mappings, and all these things. Now, our preliminary investigation is that the money is gone. The account is in fact in a negative, and we have not been able to even see proper procurement processes, let alone to get full account of how the money was spent. It is still an ongoing investigation, and you, the press, will be updated as we go. In that file, you may have heard that somebody escaped from the ACC. Now, I have to set the record straight because people write things they don't understand. When people are invited at the ACC, there are 2 categories, probably 3. There are suspects who come under high security alertness and protection to make sure they can only leave either when they are on bail or when they are on their way to court. Then there are witnesses who come who could be later transformed into suspects after the interview or during the interview process. So before they leave, there is more stringent security measures around them. Mr. Dauda Kamara, who escaped, came as a witness. He came with his lawyer. He met other people being investigated. He was processed for interview as a witness. His lawyer was standing. He took off his jacket, put it on his chair, and he said he wanted to speak to somebody. At that stage, he was not a suspect. So he was not under the same security measures and stringence as others would do. In that process, Mr. Kamara then left. That is the time we then declared him a wanted person. Because if he can run away, when in fact we have not pronounced any arrest on him, it means 1, he wants to frustrate the investigation, he does not want to help it. And secondly, he may have something that gives him reason to run away. What we call in law mischievous discretion. So Mr. Kamara is a wanted man, and we are expecting the press to help us get him so that the investigations can continue. He was in fact a signatory to the account, even though he was not a public servant. It's an escrow account. There are 2 people to the account. The institution, NASIT, had 1 signatory, and the people he was representing had another signatory on the other side. So because it's escrow, nothing goes out if both of them don't know. That is why he was material to the investigation, and he so remains. That was just an addition to the NASIT investigation. We have also reopened completely the Ebola investigations. The files are with the prosecutors and the investigators for reassessment of the role everyone played. We are particularly looking at the audit reports, those areas that were rolled over into 2016, and we are now assessing whether after they were rolled over, anything were done about them in terms of whether it's recoveries, whether it's better explanations, whether it's something that gives us an idea as to why it was a concern in the report of 2015. That is being done by committed investigators as we speak. The file is being reviewed, and you will hear from us in due course. We are also looking into the 2015, 2016, and 2017 audit service reports as we speak. They are going to inform us. At this stage, let me say this, there has been a conflict between what Parliament does and what the ACC can do. It is our view and position as management of the ACC that we are mandated by the Anti-Corruption Act to investigate corruption within Sierra Leone, both corruption and corrupt practices. Where we get our information is not prescribed in the Act. It means it is open. If there is an audit report that is out and it informs us to commence an investigation, nobody can stop us. If they have their own role to look into that very report, let them do it. Let them come up with their reports. Let them deal with it. But they cannot tie the hands of the Commission because we were mandated by law without restriction to investigate corruption and corrupt practices. And that is what we'll do in respect of every source of information, including audit reports. Now, yesterday, we all know that a huge event took place at State House where the transition report was presented to His Excellency, the President. And there can be no gainsaying that we are going to play an important role into looking at that. We are ready, willing, and prepared to do so. As at yesterday, there has been a decision of management that a joint team of investigators comprising people from the investigations department and the systems and processes department to look into, forensically analyze, synthesize, and bring out aspects of that report that are of interest to the ACC. That is going to happen this week and next week, and if possible the week after. And those areas and persons and personnel that are of interest to the ACC's investigation, we will bring them out and we will see what the ACC can do in the light of such clear, glaring report of grand corruption in the public service of Sierra Leone. It is clearly within our mandate to do so, and we intend to do it seriously. As you can see, everything I have called to you involves a lot. The ACC is going to need a lot of capacity development. At this stage, I am inviting the government of Sierra Leone. As the President himself said, corruption is an issue of national security. After being in this commission for 7 days, I lent credence to that it should be taken as such. But we cannot do it if we don't have the same logistical, human support as such a fight would need. We are therefore calling on the government to provide us every support we need as a priority, as an emergency, if we have to perform our roles properly, clearly, efficiently, and well. I have no doubt that this government is committed to this fight against corruption. I know it is one of the major pillars upon which they were elected, and I believe they will help us. But I want them to do it now and fast. Because corruption is so endemic, is so widespread that every minute we delay, we'll be playing catch up, and it is not good for Sierra Leone. In that regard, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for listening to me. I thank you for coming here to see myself and the management of the Anti-Corruption Commission. We are ready to work with you. We rely on your support. We hope you will give us the support we need. If you need clarifications on issue before putting it out there so you don't jeopardize our investigations, please feel free to contact the necessary department to give you clarification. If for any reason you have something against us, discuss it with us. You have to know that this is war. In war, there can be casualties and there can be collateral damage. I am not promising you that in this fight there will be no collateral damage. There will be people who will go after, who it may turn out they are completely innocent. But that is what war does. Let them not take it that it's because we have anything against them. It is because we are fighting a genuine war and we believe we are on the side of truth. That there will be room for mistakes, there will be room for some errors. That is the promise I make to you today, and I invite you to support in this fight. I thank you.
Corruption, that this is not any country. Where they make country for them bata bata. Fango them let we change we attitude. Resist, reject, and report corruption.